This is a tutorial Maya and relationship to Rhino, and we're going to see how we can export from Maya to Rhino, and then do a couple, at least one trick in this case, in another tutorial, another trick based on Grasshopper, so we can do our first test of complex generation of form in Grasshopper. Okay, I'm going to start with the Alex that I worked with. So this one of you guys did in class, one of the exercise in Elix, and as I can see, is it has a light and everything. We're not gonna care about the light or the plane, just about the Elix. And another thing the student did is smooth it, because we were working in 2008. The person that did this already did the smooth an option. I think he did it in 2 and plays smooth. So if you haven't done that, you should do this step in order to take it to Rhino first. So basically smooth option 2 on smooth, and also check that the geometry then in geometry of your model, it's similar to this one, or at least with good quality. If it's too dense, it's too much. If it's little dense, it's not too good. So I think something like this is quite good. Okay, so the only thing we have to do is first of all make sure that if we go to Windows Setting Preferences and Plugin Manager, we need to make sure that this option where is obj export.mll, it's double click here, load it and auto load, and we just close afterwards. So if you haven't done that, you have to do it. And then what we have to do is select the object, the model that we want to export, and we're going to say File, Export Selection. I'm going to go to my desktop and I'm going to call it 1, and obj, if you don't have it here, it should be down here as an option once you have test or place your plugin manager correctly. Export selection, and good. We close this, and now what I'm going to do is pause it a little bit so I can close Maya and open Rhino. I cannot actually work with both at the same time with this computer, so I'll pause it there. Okay, so this is Rhino. I'm gonna just close, and what I'm gonna do here is as simple as open. And in the desktop, you won't see it here. This is my desktop, escritorio in Spanish, because the type of file that it's searching for is a Rhino 3DM file. So we have to say all to see it, and there is one. And we say abrir, which is open, and it should come there. Okay, click perspective, and this is our model. As you can see, the first thing that we notice is that actually the Z axis in Maya, as we already know for a long time, it's the same as the Y axis here in Rhino. So what we have to do is as simple as rotate 3D and make a rotation from the 0, 0 coordinate as the center of the axis of rotation, and the axis should be this one, and the rotation of 90 degrees up. So we always have to do the same. And remember to always do it from the 0, 0 coordinate. I just rotated 90 degrees. You could always go to, I think it's the front of the right view probably, and do 90 degrees rotation here. So the next step we do, when you export it from Rhino, from Maya to Rhino, you get a mesh shape. So the first thing we have to do is say mesh to nerve. Just type it here, mesh to nerve, and it's gonna generate automatically the nerve surface out of that mesh. So don't touch outside or anything, just delete the mesh that we had before, and that's the nerves corresponding with the mesh. No, it's very simple. So now what we're gonna do is simple. We're gonna open Grasshopper as a plugin for Rhino to get parametric modeling in complex multi-forms or whatever. To do that, we have to just type Grasshopper, and if you have it installed in your computer, it should open up automatically. I know that the computers at school, they have it, so you should be able to open it up at school, so should be fine. And there's a file. If you go File, Open, and you go to Student Drive and check on our folder for the course 4709, and inside of exercises, the last exercise, or at least the one that we are working on now, we'll have within Rhino folder and Grasshopper folder, I think there should be like two files, and we're gonna open in this case one of them, which is gonna be, let me go to it. Let me see if I remember where 4709 other Grasshopper. There you go. You should have these two, or at least named similar. One is about volumes, which is, this is the case, it's an enclosed volume, and the other one's going to be about surfaces. So if there's any hole whatsoever, you should use the surface. You won't be able to use volume. For the ones enclosed, you could use both of them if you want. So let's do for this one volume. So if we open it up with Grasshopper, this is pretty much what comes out, and it's just a mess of kind of a script related to how to fill up a volume with random selected boxes, with a random rotation and random lengths, etc., etc. So what I'm going to do is as simple as that. You should all do this if you have an enclosed and you have got to this point. You should go to this geometry, which is the one in the top left, and it's basically a way of selecting an input to Grasshopper. We're going to right click on that little image here, geo, and we're going to go to set one geometry. As you can see, Grasshopper disappears because it's kind of in Rhino now, so we just select this guy and turns yellow, and Grasshopper opens. And I know it's going to take a while because it's computing all this script, that it's not very complex, but it will take a little while to make it. So I'll just pause it there until it shows up, and I'll explain afterwards. Okay, so it took a while here, so if it takes some time, just don't freak out. It should come out. And now in my case, because I pretty much studied earlier on, I know that it kind of fits within the logic. Now you probably depends on the scale of your model and many other factors in terms of mainly scale issues. You're probably going to have to go within the Grasshopper file and change some of these features here. The density, which is going to set how many boxes there are. Both of the densities are this one in the plane and this one in height related. So be careful with these guys very much, because you very easily can actually screw it up the script in terms of computational factors that the machine has to do, and could crash very easily. So basically, if you want to change any density level, you just double click here and you change the number, and then the green guy. I won't do it because my computer cannot handle too many things. So just go from 200 to 50, depends on how big your boxes are. Go up to 5, and from 1, probably not from 1, from 2. The seed doesn't really matter. It's just the random quality that you can change the numbers. You will see that they will change automatically their position and their rotation and everything. And then also the lengths. It's basically the boxes, how much they're extruded. You may want to change those lengths, and probably also the extrusion length, which is how big the base of the square are. Anyway, test these guys. The rotation will set the random rotations as well. And change those guys into actually have like a feeling quality that is interesting for you to export. So now the way to get that, as you can see, this red geometry here is something we cannot touch. Let me actually select our original nerves here, and I'm going to hide it by pressing hide. And as you can see, these boxes are pretty much what we have generated in Rhino. It's something that we cannot touch here. As you can see, I tried to hold them, but I cannot touch. It's something that's kind of ghost until you actually render it, or you can bake it, what it's called, in Grasshopper. So to do that, we're going to go to the last feature. It could be here, some other times it's another place. In this case, it's here, and it's we press it, immediately whatever this function, this little toggle is, it's going to turn in green. So we're going to recognize what the function is in relation to Rhino by pressing it and seeing the color, if it changes or not. So that's how Grasshopper functions. If I press outside, you see it turns red again. So what you have to do is go to extrusion, right click and say bake. We use the default, and we say OK. It could take a while, but immediately we can even see the difference between being green and having all these lines and definitions. So now we can very easily just close Grasshopper, and what we have baked, what we have rendered in a way, it is here in Rhino, and we can play with it now. So this is something we have to now export again to Maya. So what I'm going to do is simple as, well, first of all, you should go to options, just in case, and you should go to plugins here, and make sure that in the same way we did in Maya, we have to do it again. We have to make sure that OBJ here export is actually loaded. So in mine it's not, so it's a good example. I have to actually load plugin by right clicking on the node and say load plugin, and say yes, and say OK. Now I can select whatever objects, in this case my boxes that I want to take to Maya, and say file, export selected, and very simple, we go to OBJ, which should appear now over here somewhere. Let's see where it is. There we go. And there shows the first one. I'm gonna name it 2. Okay. Save. And you see this option should be clicked, of course, because it's kind of ready for Maya. So you just place Y up, so automatically when we open it. I think polygon mass is good and curves is good. So we say OK. And yeah, since it's boxes, I like to minimize the number of polygons to the least as possible. So I say OK. Great. So now it's next tutorial. I will open up Maya again and we'll work out with this little model. Okay, done.